The Fantastic Four trailer has finally landed online after what was a pretty disastrous launch event. But nevertheless, we have here our first minute and 30-second teaser trailer that finally gives us a look at things we've been dying to see from the MCU Fantastic Four. So that's exactly what I'll be doing here for you guys, is I'll be giving you my breakdown / reaction to this trailer, pointing out Easter eggs, details you might have missed, informing you a little bit about the movie, theories and speculating it all, but I also just want to hear your guys' reaction to this. How did you feel about the way they launched the trailer? Did this meet your expectations? Anything and everything, be sure and let us know your thoughts down below. Okay, so, who do I gotta talk to for making me wake up 2 extra hours for nothing? Yesterday when we got the teaser trailer, for the teaser trailer, we were then given a link to a countdown, which was on Marvel's YouTube page, letting us know that at 6 a.m., at least Central Time, 4 a.m. Los Angeles time, feeling real bad for my West Coast people, but setting up a countdown that let us know, hey, that's when the trailer's gonna be dropping, right? Why else set up a countdown? Oh, of course, a countdown to a countdown. Holy moly, this is brilliant. A lot of us nerds woke up to the surprise, waiting for the countdown to finish, only to see that once the countdown was over on the page, another countdown started for a whole hour as they just showed off some museum footage, giving you a vibe that there's a real launch about to happen. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Kind of a clever idea. In a Fantastic Four are astronauts, they go into space, they're launching, you're launching a trailer, I see how the dots connect. Don't gotta be Reed Richards to know that. But dude, setting a countdown for a countdown is a crazy way to go. And if I'm even being a little bit more petty, because I'm a little cranky for not getting enough sleep now, when you look at this museum footage, it's not even of the Fantastic Four world. If you look at all the spacesuits, spaceships, and the world that the Fantastic Four is set in, none of that is actually being matched in this video. This is all just regular astronaut stuff from our world. How boring! I know these are champagne problems, but when they pop, they be poppin'. But alright, putting that aside and actually focusing on the trailer itself, pretty happy with it. We start off with elevator doors opening inside the Baxter building, and the aesthetic of this universe is my favorite part of the Fantastic Four movie. This retro-futuristic world that is supposed to be high-tech, but everything ended up staying like it was still the 60s. We have Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, who look like they're conducting an interview and explaining their everyday lives.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7, on the dot, no matter what.
Cutting to an outside shot of the Baxter building, which I think just looks phenomenal. Having us then cut to Herbie the robot, who is cooking for the Fantastic Four, and they reveal to us Ben Grimm. My jaw was on the ground as soon as I saw him, because I think he looks absolutely fantastic.
Say that again?
No, we gotta say that again. Fantastic. I think they perfectly captured the body shape, the face shape. It's really going back to the older Fantastic Four comics and the early looks of Ben Grimm. It's an instantly recognizable face. To me, I think the CGI looks great. I already see people nitpicking that his movements feel a little bit off, or that the CGI isn't all the way there. And I don't know, to me, if this was the final version, I'd be extremely happy with it. I'm also a huge fan of the choice of having him have clothes from head to toe. Not that it's absolutely needed. I would have been fine if he's shirtless, but I think this is a nice change of pace from what we've gotten. I mean, we've had a thing with pants on, and we've had a thing with no thing on. That's a thing. And I honestly think Ben Grimm was actually the highlight character of the trailer. While most of the Fantastic Four get a moment to shine in the trailer, all of Ben's moments just get me excited for his story development, even if it's been done before in other movies. Just like this shot of him in his street clothes looking at his old face and then his reflection. But I also love the moments of him just running towards whatever action is going on. Just really rock solid job. Even Ebon Moss's voice.
Okay. Is this guy good or what? I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip.
I think suits the character well. But as the trailer continues on, we have Reed talking to Sue about the day they got their powers, which is the first time they went up in space.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible.
They've already mentioned that this movie is not going to be an origin story, but I do like getting hints of the origin. Even if we're not going to spend a lot of the movie on it, I just like to see it. And here it looks like they are remaining pretty faithful to what usually happens. A trip in space gone wrong. No idea how the negative zone will or won't be part of this movie, but there's already so much more going on. From here's then where we get to highlight the other Fantastic Four members. Vanessa Kirby's invisible powers, I think, do look pretty cool. There's clearly something dangerous going on in the city. You can see the Fantastic car in the background along with police. There is a shot later in the trailer of the Fantastic car going through the city, which I still like the look of the Fantastic car. We're mainly seeing it on the ground floor, but it looks like it's supposed to be able to fly, and that would also follow in line with the comics. Remember, because this is taking place in a world outside of the MCU in a separate universe, the Fantastic Four are not only the first ever superheroes of this world, they're the only superheroes. So they're also going to be treated like major celebrities, and it's why in the teaser trailer we had kids laughing and excited to see the Fantastic Four do something, and we get another shot of kids who are dressed as Ben Grimm for Halloween, which, yeah, looks like the movie will be set around Halloween, because in an earlier shot when Ben is looking at the TVs, you can see a pumpkin in the background. When we get to the moments of Joseph Quinn's Johnny Storm showing off his Human Torch powers, we get some really beautiful shots. This one in particular of him flying as high as he can into the atmosphere and then just stopping his powers. I think that was honestly a really cool look. I wish we would have gotten kind of a better shot of him as the Human Torch, because I don't know, just from the shots we got here, it looks like your very stereotypical person on fire. And yeah, I get it, there's only so many ways you can make a person on fire look unique, but a lot of us were hoping with the suits that they decided to choose for the Fantastic Four, which I love the suits. This shot of them all four together, really great. I was so worried when we would be seeing all the different Fantastic Four suits of the MCU lately, from the John Krasinski one to the Chris Evans one in Deadpool and Wolverine, that they would just not look that great when the MCU finally did their own. But these, I think, really look awesome. But these suits are inspired from an underlayer astronauts wear in their astronaut suits, and they have these really specific lines that fans were hoping that once the Human Torch transformed into his fiery form, he would then kind of also mimic those lines the same way he looked in his comic appearance. That would definitely be a unique and different take on Johnny Storm that we haven't seen done, and would kind of separate itself from traditional people who just flame on.
Flame on! Huh? Ah, I'm on fire! Get a blanket or something!
But we'll have to wait and see, because obviously the CGI isn't done and little things are being fixed, which is probably why Reed Richards, my boy Mr. Fantastic, didn't get to do squat in the trailer. This low-key scares me a little bit, because I love me some Mr. Fantastic stretchy powers. While we do get a lot of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, I think looking great and sounding great, he didn't really get to use his abilities. Now again, this could be because maybe CGI isn't done and stretchy human abilities just are always going to look a little uncanny and off, and maybe they were just trying to minimize the complaints from people who nitpick everything. But maybe there's a deeper issue here. It does sound like Reed wants to fix Ben or possibly reverse the powers they got, and that's why he's talking to his wife about it, and she's having to like calm him down.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock, and Johnny never caught fire.
Ben has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
And that makes me wonder, is Reed ashamed of his powers and refuses to use them unless it's an emergency or he's forced to? And if that's gonna be the case, man, that's gonna be a bit of a bummer, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Now, when getting on to the two villains that got revealed in this trailer, for one, we have John Malkovich playing a mysterious role, although it's heavily rumored he's playing an old Fantastic Four villain named Red Ghost. In the comics, he's a scientist from Russia who's really obsessed with trying to beat the US to the moon in space. He also manages to train and give some intelligence to some gorillas, which become part of his henchmen. I don't know, kind of crazy, but it's also said that there's gonna be a lot of different Fantastic Four villains, so we might be seeing them doing heroic things as a family quite a bit throughout this movie. And look, a gorilla fighting the Thing, Let me see that. But the big villain everybody wants to talk about that we got a really good shot of is Galactus. Again, the complainers and people nitpicking going, oh, he's a little too small. He should be a lot bigger. I get it, man. Sometimes Galactus is so gigantic, the earth could fit up his nostril. But in this situation where I actually want to see a decent fight with the Fantastic Four and Galactus, this is a good enough size and that helmet is so iconic looking. I'm just happy to be getting Galactus on the big screen in that giant of a form. I'm still holding out to the theory also that the Fantastic Four absolutely lose this battle. I mean, Galactus is the eater of worlds. If we're eventually going to have this Fantastic Four join our MCU or cross paths with the main MCU, I think them having lost their world will probably set that up really well. And that's really most of what the teaser showed, and there's still so much more left in this movie. They have not shown us the Silver Surfer, which is going to be played by Julia Gardner. I'm still betting you Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom shows up somewhere in here, because how do you not have Doctor Doom part of a Fantastic Four movie? That and just so many other things. So honestly, this Fantastic Four trailer I thought was awesome. It was fantastic.
Say that again?
I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the trailer? What did you enjoy? What did you hate? Anything, other thing, be sure and like, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.